PayPal. I mean, Peter Pan.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Lost Ark video. Today I'm doing a little roster updates. If you guys didn't watch my first video, I'll leave a little card in the top right hand side of the screen so you can go and check that out. But in that video I went through my entire account. From now on, obviously I'm not gonna do that. I'm only gonna do update videos that show what has changed since the previous video. It's been about a month and a half since that video came out the day before Thamine, so that was April 17th, I believe. So doing it here at the beginning of the month, and I think I'll just follow that cadence where I'll just do one at the beginning of every month and kind of outline my goals for that month. So let's start with the least important and work our way up to the most important. In this case, the least important is my aeromancer. I knowledge transfer her and gave her a skin, so now everybody on my account is at least, you know, level 50, and the item level doesn't look that disparage. But, you know, other than that, I'm not going to be playing Arrow or anything like that. I just wanted her to, you know, make the roster look a little bit better. And I didn't have anybody I wanted to use the anniversary skin on, so I figured why not, I'll just give it to her. Then moving back up here, you'll notice I have removed the skins on the characters I'm not playing, except this guy because I don't really have anybody to put them on. But I also decided to raw hone my Deathblade to 1600. She's currently 1598, so I'm 2 taps away. I also took away the gems from my Scouter and my Shadow Hunter and gave them to her, so I'll just log into her and show you guys where she's at right now. Alright, so this is her. This is what she looks like now. She had a little bit of a makeover. I actually really like this look. But anyway, in terms of her gear, I haven't bought her new accessories just yet, but I did get this bracelet. It has 111 spec and 115 crit with Harvest on it. Not the most amazing thing in the world, but you know, it does the job for now. I'll roll new bracelets whenever I redo her accessories. I currently just have my old 5.3 Crystal Adrenaline build. And honestly, I'm just doing a Con normal mode, I'm doing Brel hard mode, I'm doing, you know, Kai Angel hard mode. It's not really the most gear requiring content, so it doesn't really matter too much. In terms of her armor, she has a 1605 chest piece and 1605 legs, and then her shoulders and gloves are at 1610. So she still needs a Con chest piece and of course her weapon to go up. So I did overhone quite a bit, but you know, it is what it is. I ran out of shards. As you can see, I only have 4k shards, so it's gonna take me a while to get her there, so I'm kind of slowing down on it. In terms of her gems, she has a 10 surge, and the rest are just 7s because, you know, it's a surge blade, so this is pretty much like 70% of your damage anyway. But yeah, that's where she's at right now. That's where she's going to be, just kind of slowly accumulating shards and honing as I go. As I get new Icon pieces, I'll keep honing them up. I do have other priorities right now, but once I finish those, then I'll just start buying mats on her to kind of accelerate the process a little bit. I want to have her finished before the end of July, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but that is what I'm planning for right now. Other than that, I'm still doing dailies on my War Dancer just to, you know, start building up a stack of shards and tripods before I am able to power pass her, which I'm hoping I can do with the next character release. If the next character release is a support, then I'm going to send her. If the new class is a DPS, then I will have to, you know, hold my thoughts until that class comes out, and I'll see if I like it better than I do War Dancer. As for the rest of my roster, my top 6, there have been a lot of changes, but the characters that have seen the least amount of change is my Glaver and my gunslinger. They still have pretty much the same thing. My, you know, Glaver has a 1615 weapon for the white glow, and my gunslinger is just at, you know, everything at 1610, and they both have full 7s. I'm not really planning on buying them new gems or anything like that. The only thing they've received is, obviously, since they're doing Thamine, I've rolled their Transcendence. So they do have Transcendence on, you know, level 2, the 10 crown set bonus on all their pieces, and that's pretty much where they're going to stay. I don't think I'm going to, you know, push them any further than that. I'll roll level 3 Transcendence but I won't really fish for perfect crowns. But, you know, if you roll Transcendence, you do get an increase to your base stats, so in my Glaver's case, she gets Strength, and the Gunslinger gets Dexterity, so I'll just get that so they get a little bit more damage. And it's basically free, right? Like, when you unlock the Transcendence with Darkfire, it doesn't cost anything to roll, you're just paying for the cards you're using, right? So, it's fine for the gold cost, it's whatever. However, the character in my top 6 that has seen the biggest glow up since the last update is by far my Zerker. So, here is my Zerker. I did get him to 1620, which honestly I feel like it might have been a little bit of a mistake, because now I kind of feel like married to him, like I have to kind of commit to him. I did get him a new bracelet. So my old bracelet had like 120 crit, 120 swift, but that was it. It had cheers. So it was a support bracelet. So I replaced his bracelet because honestly, with the swiftness and this crit, like, it doesn't make that big of a difference. I think I lost like 1% crit rate, but overall I gained Circulate, which is nice, and then I also have MP Recovery. And this actually makes a huge difference, by the way. Like, this, I never go into Boundless. Like, the only time I ever go into Boundless is if I have a dog shit support. Like, genuinely horrible support, right? So, this bracelet is pretty decent, I guess. Like, I lose 1% crit rate. I don't really lose anything, because I don't lose Raid Captain effectiveness with my current swiftness. Because, yeah. 13% plus 12, that's 25, and 25 plus 15 from Mayhem Engraving is 40. So I am still at max swiftness, just with Yearning and Mayhem. So overall, I think the bracelet is a little bit of an improvement. Would I want a better one? Obviously, this is like pretty horrible, but at least Circulate plus MP Recovery is decent enough. Other than that, I did get him 40 cent. The things he rolled were not super amazing, aside from his chest piece. So I did get a 5/5 weapon power, attack power chest piece, so it's like literally best in slot. Other than that, he does have 4 boss damage and 3 weapon power. This was because this was a purple. So I rolled this purple. I have not been able to roll a boss damage 5 shoulder. So I'm currently working on that. And I'm also working on getting him legs. So his legs have attack power resource, so they don't have crit damage or additional damage. So those are the things I'm working on him right now. Just getting him better elixirs and also improving his gems. So far I've gotten him 2 level 10s, 1 for Overdrive and 1 for Hellblade. The next one I'm going to get is for Finish Strike, obviously, since those are like his 3 highest damaging skills. But I'm going to get him full 10s. So this is the current project that I'm prioritizing, is getting him full 10s. I'm not going to have them, obviously, before Echidna comes out, but hopefully I'll have at least 2 more before Echidna comes out, so that way he's not just so bare bones, and it'll be easier for me to get into parties. But yeah, overall, Zerker is a good class. He is just unfortunately power crept. And I feel like they just need to increase his damage. I feel like they just need to either be lazy. They have 2 options. They can be lazy and just give him a blanket increase to all of his skill damage, like what they did with Sork. Just boom, increase this skill by 11%, this skill by 12%, this skill by 8%, whatever, right? Or they have to rework the class as a whole. They have to get rid of Red Dust, redistribute the damage that you get from Red Dust by buffing up the damage of his skills significantly at a base, and then adding crit rate to the Mayhem Engraving, because you lose the I think it's like 25 or 30% crit rate that you get from your normal burst mode that Berserker Technique makes use of, and all you get is flat damage. But now there's literally no reason. Like, you still get flat damage on BT, so there's really no point, right? So they need to increase the damage of his skills in PvE so that it affects both specs, and they need to add some sort of crit rate innately to the Mayhem class engraving so they can get rid of Red Dust. But that is like a large scale project that I don't see them doing, so realistically just buff up his damage and people will be happy. But yeah, I'm kind of married to him now. I like Zerker, like I've said before, he's just alpha as fuck. He's easy to play, he's got great utility, so I just wish he didn't feel as bad, like, when I'm competing versus other classes for damage. So yeah, that's where he's at right now. I actually got 40 set on him in the first week of hard mode Volvis. That was pretty crazy lucky. I got him, like, all these elixirs, I got him on the first week. So he was pretty decent right out of the gate, but need 5 boss damage on shoulders, need crit damage on legs, and also his weapon quality is only 89. There's no pity system on quality, so I've been super unlucky. I think I've spent about, at this point, I've spent about 250k on trying to improve his weapon quality, and it still hasn't tapped. So I kind of just gave up. So yeah, I really hope they announce some sort of quality pity at Loa on, but I don't think that's going to happen ever. It's just crazy how somebody can spend, like, literally an infinite amount of gold, 700,000 gold, never get a 100 quality weapon, and somebody can just get it free off of a craft. They can literally just craft a weapon for 2,400 gold with Econ materials, and it'll be 100 quality. It's just crazy that that's actually a possibility, right? Like, the disparity between them should not be that crazy. And the amount of damage that you get, like, is insane. The last couple of little qualities, like, I don't know why the quality power is so backloaded, where the last 5%, you know, is worth more than, like, 40. So, yeah, those are my grievances with him. That's where he's at. And obviously, yeah, he's 1620, so I rolled his Transcendence. He's got, like, the first set bonus on each piece, so that's all they can get, unfortunately. So, now moving on to my Slayer. She has seen some improvements as well. As I think I showed this in the previous video. So I'm running Punisher, but when I rolled my elixirs, I rolled them critical because I was playing Predator. So I still have the critical 40 set. I've not been able to get Master. It just does not exist. So I haven't been able to get Master, but at least now I have additional damage 5 on her legs. So if you remember from my previous video, I don't remember what she had. Yeah, she had this, so attack, power, strength. So now at least I have additional damage 5. It's not crit damage, but I actually think this is more than fine, simply because I am running Keen Blunt. So because I'm running Keen Blunt on Punisher, I think it's just a little bit better to not have as diminishing returns. I haven't ran this through a calculator, but I'm sure that the difference is not that dramatic. So, yeah. Obviously, she's 1620, so she has her Transcendence on all her pieces. She can't really get more than the 2-piece bonus, or sorry, the 5 crown bonus. I also got her weapon to 22. That was not the most painful thing ever, to be honest. It was alright. So, pretty happy about that. I love the black glow, and I also got her a reskin ticket. Can't really see her too well with this, like, million people behind me and all these glows. Let me display my character only. So yeah, I got her a reskin ticket, so she does look different than what she used to. I really like this look. Her face looks kind of chubby in this area, I don't know why. But yeah, that's about it for her. Now moving on to my breaker. So when I made that first video on my breaker, I don't actually remember what he had. Like, I don't remember his gear. I think he was pretty bare bones. I think he only had like 2 10s or whatever. So he has come a very, very long way. So first, yeah, he's 1622 now. I'm pressing fat fingering everything. So yeah, he's 1622 now. I got him a 22 weapon. That was very, very lucky. I actually tapped, I think it was from 20 to 21. I actually hit 21 with a free tap. Like with these things, with the fuse leaps, it actually hit. That was insane. So from plus 19 to 22, it was very cheap for him. He was very lucky. Outside of that, I think I already had his engraving set up, but I actually didn't notice this back then when I made that video. I had attack power malice. I don't know how I missed it, but I actually had attack power malice. So I had to change his accessories, and I lost like 2 or 3 crit, It doesn't matter as long as it's over 65, right, for the most part. Because with 65, I'm sitting at 99% crit rate on Asura. But, yeah, I had to redo some of his accessories, and now he's at 1819, which is fine. Again, 600 swiftness is what you need, because with 10% move speed, you get 15% from the class engraving, so that puts you at 25, and then Yearning puts you at 37, and then any feast, even if it's a 3% feast, will put you at 40 for raid captain. So all you need is 10%, and he's got that, so he's good to go. Obviously, I also did get him 40 cent, so I went with Master, because, yeah, I don't have a 9-7 stone. I did try for a 9-7. I did not get it. Tried, like, I think over 90 stones that I had saved up, and none of them hit, so I just gave up, and I went with Master. His elixirs, this elixir on his helmet is not the best, which is what I'm trying to replace, but he has all the other important pieces. He's got boss damage 5, and he has a best in slot 5/5 chest piece, so again, attack power and weapon power, which is very nice. And then his legs, they have crit damage and master of evasion. So, yeah, so, his gloves are fine though, master and strength. So, for the most part, he's got everything he needs. It's just the helmet has fucking Vagabond 5, and it doesn't have Master 5. So, I am trying to replace this, but again, it's just such a horrible thing to like min-max elixirs. So, I've not been able to do that just quite yet. Other than that, he does have full 10s now, so he's juiced. And I also got him a Burger King build. So my Burger King build, I rolled this stone, which is a 9-6 stone, so I was stuck with Hitmaster. So there is a Cursed Doll variant of the build, which you can use with Entropy, but you can also just use Hallucination with it. But you just use the head attack on Falling Star, Eye of the Storm, and then you replace Celestial with Explosive Fist if you wanted to. But I went with Hitmaster because I'm not about to, you know, sweat with both builds. The whole point, in my eyes, the whole point of going BK is to use it in fights that are annoying for Entropy. So why would I go an Entropy-like build that focuses on head attacking Eye of the Storm if I, you know, like, I would just play Asura at that point. Anyway, so I did get him his accessories as well. I went with Adrenaline 1, and since they both use Master Set, I didn't have to do double elixirs. And for his gems, I'm sharing most of them, so I can share Brawl King, Falling Star, Eye of the Storm, but I did have to get one for his identity, so he has an extra 10. And I used to have another 10 for Celestial Force Barrage, because Celestial Force Barrage actually deals a decent chunk of your damage. It's about 10%, 10 to 12% of your damage. Well, anywhere from 8 to 12. But I decided that, in terms of priorities, I gave that gem to my Zerker, actually. So whenever I can, I'll buy him another Celestial Barrage, but my priority right now is to get my Zerker full 10s, and get my Deathblade to 1620, so... He does not need higher gems than these, to be honest, and I was contemplating buying them, but it's too much, especially with the Asura nerf. I don't know if I'll have to, like maybe I'll just swap to Burger King permanently. So I'll just reroll the ones I have and sell the extra. But yeah, also, for Asura, I went with Crater Strike for 2 reasons. One, I can share it between BK, okay, because BK does run a cooldown gem on Crater Strike. But out of all my testing, this is the highest DPS build. You run a cooldown gem on Zafra, and you run a cooldown gem on Crater Strike. And this allows you to cycle the fastest. So in terms of using your Asura as much as possible, running a Crater Strike and a Zafra cooldown gem allows you to cycle the fastest. You can also use a cooldown on Spiral instead of Explosive Fist to cycle even faster, but I found that it doesn't really make that big of a difference. At least these two. So you only really use Explosive Fist like twice in a rotation, or maybe once. But in different fights, you might want to use, like, Explosive Fist damage is really, really good. Anyway, yeah, so that's my Breaker. He's very fun. I love Breaker. I am going to push him to 1630, 100% with Echidna. So I'll be doing Thaymine hard mode on him and getting him full Transcendence and all this good shit. So looking forward to that. And then finally, we have my Soul Eater. So my Soul Eater has a new outfit. Still have her old one, but I just thought this one was kind of cool. She is 1632 now. I managed to tap her weapon to 24. It was extremely painful. I hit it at 89% pity. So it was pretty much a pity, almost. And, I am not going to tap it again until, you know, I complete all the other things that I want to do for my roster. So I'm not going to do 25 on her until I get full 10s on my Zerker, get my Deathblade to 1620 with full 10s as well, get that level 10 Celestial for my Breaker. So I have a bunch of other objectives that I'm going to do before I even consider tapping this weapon. Because it's not worth it. It really is just not worth it. She, like I said, she's 1630, so obviously she's done Thaymine hard mode. It took me a long time to actually clear Thaymine hard mode, so I only have 3 pieces with level 7 trans, which is her shoulder, chest, and legs. I have her gloves at level 4, so she has the, you know, 10-piece bonus. It's going to take me a couple weeks to finish this, I believe. I have not, and also her elixirs, she did not have boss damage shoulders, so I was able to replace her shoulder. I don't remember what it had before. Yeah, I think it had this potion poisoning resource, so I was able to replace her shoulder with boss damage. Now, resource blessing isn't amazing, but whatever, dude, it's a 5/5. I also want to replace this, I want to replace all of her elixirs, but it's just such a pain in the ass to roll elixirs, man. It's just horrible. But at least now she has all the pieces of the puzzle. She has 5 master, 5 crit damage, she's got 5 weapon power, not the best chest piece, but whatever, and 5 boss damage, and 5 master again. So she has all the important parts, you know, she's like 80% done. Getting like attack power, dexterity, or weapon power as a substat in all of them is just really horrendous, and I think there's just better uses for my gold right now. So that's where she's at. She has boss damage now, a 24 weapon, she has level 7 trans on 3 pieces, and I think the biggest change, guys, is that I stopped playing Knight's Edge. So I no longer have a Knight's Edge build. I rerolled my gems, and this is what I'm running now. The reason that I'm running only Full Moon is because I was trying to downsize my roster. There was a certain point, and I think this started back when I initially made the change from Predator to Punisher. I was really considering keeping both builds, and I talked about this in my first video, right? And I really like the idea of just being like a class specialist and just playing both builds well, and like being able to swap, like, okay, this fight, this build is better for this one, and this build is better for that one, which is what I was doing with my Soul Eater. For the most part, endgame content like Thaymine and Voltus Gate 2, I would play Knight's Edge, but for pretty much everything else, I would just play Full Moon. I would play Full Moon in Gate 1 Thaymine, I would play Full Moon in Gate 1 Voltus, I would play Full Moon in Brel, in Akan, in Kai Angel. It's like, it just felt like I was only using Knight's Edge for the current raid, which is Thaymine. But like, after doing a bunch of research, looking at logs, and also taking a look at what players say when they're talking about future raids like Echidna and Behemoth, it seems like Knight's Edge falls behind on those two. So in my eyes, I'm like, I'd rather just take the L now and just force myself to play better so I can compete with Knight's Edge's damage in Thaymine and have a better time in everything else, you know? So I think I just downsized to Full Moon simply to future-proof my character. Like, if there was a point where one of the engravings was going to be completely irrelevant at some point, I'd rather just cut the losses now and improve the rest of my roster. So that's what I did. And it's been really difficult. I really do miss playing Knight's Edge. I had a lot of fun with it, but I just know myself, and part of my brain is just saying, like, it's just a skill issue. Like, if Knight's Edge is easier in this raid, you just have to play better to make it just as good as Knight's Edge is in Thaymine, right? So maybe I'm wrong, but that's why I did it, and I'm just going to keep working at it and practicing, trying to do better. The only exception is Breaker, and the reason why Breaker is the exception is because both of his class engravings are completely different functional-wise, but they're both burst classes. So because Breaker is still remains a burst class, but functions differently in the sense that like one is Hitmaster, the other one is Entropy, I feel like there is a place for both of them, unless the Asura nerf comes out that Korea got, and it's just so unbelievably bad, like to the point where there is no real merit to running Asura over Burger King. Then at that point, like I said, I'll just flip over. But for now, that's it. Those are the changes to my characters. This video is a little bit longer than I actually intended it to be, but I'll put some Subway Surfers gameplay on the side, aka a mine run or something. What do you guys think? What are you planning to do with your rosters? Who are you pushing with Echidna? The 1620, what are your grievances, and what are you guys expecting to see from Loa on? I really want to see the new class so I can know if I'm going to be pushing my word answer or not, and really want to see some changes to elixirs and transcendence as well. So I'm kind of holding off on doing any elixirs until Loa on. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.